Hi, Lexi Daly here with this week's episode of Make It Monday for Paper Tray Inc. Today I'm going to share some ideas on stamping wrapping paper for small gifts. So with Christmas season looming, I thought it would be fun to show you one of my favorite Christmas crafts, and that is to stamp customized wrapping paper for small gifts. And so here's a sample of a double stack gift, and I've used the same 4 colors on each paper, some words on this one, peace, love, and joy, and mistletoe on this one, using the same colors to make them coordinate with each other. So let me set this out of the way and I'll show you some of my tips. So for starters, I like things to be really lined up, so I created a few templates that I put underneath my work. The diagonal stripe one, which is one we're going to use today for peace, love, and joy, and this just shows through the paper as I stamp. I also have a horizontal stripe, and then I have a grid as well, which helps me when I was doing like the mistletoe or other shapes, so that I could see from the grid like how much space I was leaving in between them if that's necessary. Sometimes it doesn't even really matter, but it does help when you're doing a 2-step, or if you want to make sure to leave spaces for certain things. So we're going to use this one, and I have a little bit of tape on the top and bottom of the paper here and here. And I'm just going to stick the 2 pages together, and I can see the lines through. I'll have these templates available on my blog for you so that you can download them and use them. But if you choose to print your own, I just did like a 2-point line, and I lined everything up and printed it, and that's it. So I'm going to start with making sure I get peace, love, and joy on a full line rather than starting in the corner, because I want to make sure I know the spacing and how I line things up. I am using Limeade Ice, Pure Poppy, New Leaf, and a little bit of Lovely Lady. So a traditional red and green, and then lighter shades of the 2 to kind of lighten the paper up. So I'm going to start with Peace and Limeade Ice. And then a spacer heart, which I will do in between every word. And then love in red, Pure Poppy. Another spacer. And then joy and New Leaf. So now I have just the basic pattern across peace, love, and joy. I also wanted to say peace, love, and joy this way. So I'm going to do that next. So lining up my piece here. And then love is already there. And so then I need joy at the bottom. Now I'm starting to see the relationship of where things will line up as I stamp them. And really it doesn't have to be perfect, but I just kind of notice basically how things are. I'm not going to do any measuring. And the spacer hearts actually help out a little bit too. Although once you have your pattern, you will start to see where things are lining up in general and where you want them to be. So I'm just going to add the hearts that are ready, and then I'm going to continue here with love. And I can do a couple of loves at the same time because there is room for them. And actually I could probably keep going, but I like to kind of build and have them build on each other. So I'm just going to show you how I do it starting from here and just kind of keep adding things around as I go. right, and there's the finished piece. So as I was stamping, I knew that the P lined up with the C for the word peace, and so I was able to do some rows of that. The L lined up with this E. The joy letters were very close together with the Y and the J, and just things like that. But if I was a little off, it didn't matter. The hearts are filling it in, and it becomes a lovely piece of patterned paper, lightweight, that would be easy to wrap a gift. When I did the mistletoe, I used the grid, as I said earlier. And again, I put tape up and tape at the top and at the bottom and lined them up. And I was able to just kind of like see where the mistletoe was. I knew I had to leave room for a bow, so I could kind of see if I was leaving a half of a square, and I guess they're about 1 inch. I didn't measure it really on my computer. I just drew it and did it, but I could tell that I needed about half of a square for the bow, and I would move it around. One thing I would recommend that I didn't do for the mistletoe, and I haven't done before, I mean, I don't always plan the gifts that I'm doing, but I noticed when I did the box that I really wanted more red and green on top of the box. And so I might measure the box and figure out what the top of the box is, and then really plan out that, and then be less specific when I plan out the rest of a pattern. When you're doing an all-over pattern like the mistletoe, it's good to do the big images first. And see, I scattered red and green bows on top of the mistletoe to keep with the colors in the Peace, Love, and Joy. And so I did the big images first, leaving room for the bows so that they didn't touch too close. Then I added in the bows a couple colors at a time, just to make sure that they were scattered and not all red together and all green together. And then I just filled in any open spaces with the hearts. So bigger images first and smaller images last. And when you're finished, you will have 2 different papers with the same colors for a nice, pretty little gift. I added a tiny tag, but if your stamping is a little less busy, maybe you want a more detailed tag. I was going for just a little pop on the tag since there was so much going on the paper. But this is also a great idea to use for birthdays. If you've got a small gift and you don't want to break out all of the wrapping paper, and it also personalizes it, matching your wrapping paper to your tag. Well, that's a wrap from me, and now it's your turn. Head over to Nicole's blog to get all of the details you need to play along and link up. And remember, the templates that I use to help guide my designs will be available on my blog for you to use as well. I can't wait to see what kind of designs you come up with. Bye!